Welcome to the Missed Opportunity, where we talk about opportunities that were completely missed. So, something I never really thought about was how bad KARRION KROSS has gotten in WWE. Now, if you don't know who KARRION KROSS is, I wouldn't blame you, obviously, if you're not keeping up with current WWE. But he was originally this guy from NXT that Triple H built up to be this big, unstoppable monster. However, the issue with him was he went down the card so bad, and I mean so bad. He literally was in a feud to start off with. Where is he? He'll be here somewhere. With Drew McIntyre. Like, here he is, this guy. Drew McIntyre, the Scottish psychopath, the Scottish warrior. He was in a feud with Drew McIntyre, and he was also being set up to face, potentially, even the world champion himself, Roman Reigns. However, things started going downhill when KARRION defeated Drew, and then obviously Drew got his win back at Crown Jewel, and they ended the feud there. Fair enough, you know, the feud had been going on for too long, their chemistry wasn't the greatest, so KARRION was off to a mediocre start. This is where WWE kind of fumbled the bag, because they kept making him lose matches to the likes of AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, and Shinsuke Nakamura. So they made him lose to all these like good stars, which obviously you want to put some stars over others, but at the same time, KARRION KROSS was the I'd say the first, other than the kind of first major return to WWE. So why didn't they do more with him, and how could they have done more with him? Well, in this video we're going to be looking at the missed opportunity that was KARRION KROSS in WWE starting at 2022. Here's the thing, so with obviously KARRION KROSS being in WWE, he was obviously having to be in a feud obviously at some point. His second feud was against Rey Mysterio, who is now a Hall of Famer. Big mistake, honestly. I personally think that KARRION KROSS shouldn't have gotten into a feud with Drew McIntyre and then Rey Mysterio. After he lost to Drew, I think he should have gone slightly down the card against slightly down the card I should say, against the megastar himself, LA Knight. Yeah, obviously LA Knight was kind of turning heel at this point, but I always can change it just so he's still a babyface. And plus as well, this can also give Bray Wyatt a bit more of a chance to fully expand his story without LA Knight coming into it. And no offense to LA Knight, but the whole LA Knight Bray Wyatt feud made no sense. This also gives LA Knight a proper big feud. Think about it, these two could have two matches. KARRION KROSS could win both of them, or LA Knight could win one of them, maybe both of them. But this is putting two of your newest stars, obviously on Triple H's watch, and showing what they can do. And this makes KARRION KROSS and LA Knight both look good, without also making them either job to the legend, well, Bray Wyatt wasn't a legend, but job to the established star, or beat an established star who's already getting his ass kicked weekly, like Rey Mysterio. It's unfortunate, but this would be the second feud for KARRION KROSS, and honestly, I think I would have enjoyed that more than the Rey Mysterio feud. So the next feud I would have in mind for KARRION KROSS would be against Shinsuke Nakamura, but it would actually lead into a pay-per-view match at the Royal Rumble. Now the reason I would do this is because I did enjoy their feud, their match was pretty solid, but again at the same time this was kind of when KARRION KROSS was on the decline, before he was in the full decline against AJ Styles, which was very unfortunate. But this is where I would say that KARRION KROSS and Shinsuke would have a trilogy of matches. So the first match, obviously after the LA Knight feud, KARRION KROSS has just a normal singles match with Nakamura. Nakamura would defeat him because KARRION KROSS has come off some big victories over Drew and LA Knight. He lost to Nakamura, so KARRION KROSS would want some revenge at the Royal Rumble. Also, I'm replacing the Bray Wyatt and LA Knight match with this match. KARRION KROSS would defeat Shinsuke Nakamura at the Royal Rumble, but then like the SmackDown before the Elimination Chamber, I'm just going to say that KARRION KROSS loses or wins against Nakamura. Again, they're equal, you can choose what happens next, but KARRION KROSS and Shinsuke Nakamura both get a win over each other, so this time it's not just one match and it's done, and the feud can go either way. But now we're going to move on to something even bigger for KARRION KROSS. So on the SmackDown after the Elimination Chamber, there would be a battle royal to determine someone to face Bray Wyatt, obviously at WrestleMania. Now I know in the original WWE universe, well obviously in real life, what we got was Braun and Bray. No, Braun and Brock. No, it wasn't even Braun. Sorry, I'm thinking of Braun because he's in the ring. Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar would face at Elimination Chamber. The winner would go on to face Bray Wyatt. Now that's going to change a little bit, and the reason that's going to change is their third singles match. This is kind of fixing their match as well. It ends in a no contest still, but it ends because of one person, Omos. So there's a triple threat match between them three at WrestleMania, which honestly I'd find pretty cool. So obviously, if you couldn't guess, KARRION KROSS is going to win this battle royal, and he is going to be the one to fight Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Now, I do want to talk quickly about Bray Wyatt's illness that had been going on. Now, I'm going to do two scenarios to end this push of KARRION KROSS to missed opportunity. Everything else can pretty much just be the same from there, but there's two endings to this missed opportunity, and there's a reason for it. So Bray Wyatt obviously has this illness at the moment, and it's kind of life-threatening, and he also is still struggling with it today. But he was struggling with it for around WrestleMania, so he couldn't have his match with Bobby, so Bobby had to be downgraded to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. But I'm going to do two scenarios. One where Bray is fit and healthy and he's able to fight KARRION KROSS' scheduled opponent, or the alternative, Bray's still sick and he can't do the match. So without further ado, let's do ending A and ending B. Ending 1 will be where Bray Wyatt and KARRION KROSS get to have their singles match at WrestleMania. Now, honestly, also credit to whoever made this WrestleMania arena, it's pretty fucking sick. But yeah, this is the ending for KARRION KROSS where him and Bray get their WrestleMania match, and honestly, it's the ending I prefer overall. But this match, honestly, I think this is a personal dream match of mine, not because these two are the greatest in the ring, they're both middle of the range, it's just, I honestly think these two could generally put on a good match. It'd be a good match, it wouldn't be anything more than that. Put on a good match, but the promo work would be amazing. Bray and KARRION KROSS would be talking in their creepy manner. Obviously, you can insert Uncle Howdy in this if you want, but I personally don't, because I was never a big fan of the Uncle Howdy story. I thought it could have gone somewhere, but it never really did. But yeah, so this would be Bray Wyatt's technical re-debut match. Obviously, he'd have a few live event matches against Jinder, LA Knight, and a few others, but this would be his proper return. Obviously his big pay-per-view return against KARRION KROSS at the grandest stage. However, if this illness that Bray Wyatt does have was still around, or if I still acknowledge it into the thing, obviously KARRION KROSS and Bray Wyatt could not have their match. Now, does that mean that KARRION KROSS gets the Bobby Lashley treatment where he's thrown into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? No. The thing is, I would have a backup plan if I was in charge of booking WWE. If KARRION KROSS and Bray Wyatt's match couldn't go through due to Bray being ill or KARRION KROSS being ill, I would just have a backup plan. And that backup plan is with somebody who's been getting a big push recently. No, not LA Knight, but Senior Money in the Bank. That's right, ending 2 would be against Damian Priest. Now this wouldn't properly make any sense, but I'll explain how it could come across. So as Judgment Day is obviously going over to SmackDown during Dominic's whole feud with Bray, you could say that obviously if Bray's ill, Damian comes in face to face with KARRION KROSS, and when the word goes out that Bray can't make Mania, KARRION KROSS opens an open challenge for whoever at WrestleMania. Damian Priest answers that open challenge and says, all my mates on the Judgment Day have WrestleMania matches, but I want a WrestleMania match considering I wasn't on the card last year and I don't want it to be a repeat. KARRION KROSS says, you'll do finally. These two have a match on night 2, it can be whatever. I mean, these two probably have a decent match as well with the Bray, probably a little bit better because of Priest's athleticism. But yeah, honestly, I'm just going to say this how it is. WWE is really stupid for not booking Damian Priest properly at WrestleMania. So this is kind of also a criticism of Triple H. So sure, he's been getting a push recently, but Priest wasn't actually on the main Mania card. Sure, he did get a main event at Backlash, but that was a month later, and Priest should have really been on the card. Maybe against Bad Bunny, maybe against KARRION Kross, but he really should have had a match. But anyway, that's how I think WWE could have used their missed opportunity with KARRION Kross, and how he could have worked in the WWE if Triple H had decided to properly push him. So from this point, he can still feud with AJ Styles, but maybe just give him an extra win or so, and then let him move on, maybe to fight Rey Mysterio finally for that United States Championship, and then maybe have him win it. But that's the missed opportunity I would do for KARRION Kross in WWE. And honestly, like I said at the beginning, KARRION Kross didn't have a bad start. It was just a bit mediocre because he did lose a match, but at least he didn't get pinned. But then obviously my version is still not perfect, with Shinsuke pinning him on a random episode of SmackDown. But at least it would have been a pretty cool ending instead of the fucking roll-up ending. But that's pretty much been it. I hope you enjoyed Missed Opportunity, and stay tuned for the next episode of this series.